Yo guys, welcome back. We are doing another yap session, but this time it's going to be a little bit more educational, a little bit better than what I usually, bitch and moan about. This is actually going to be one of the main things that I actually hold pretty near and dear to my heart, honestly, because just being a small business owner. By the way, we're going to go with gold today for the code. I'm going to make it a little bit harder, yo, because you guys are way too fast at getting this shit. I'll literally put it out there and like within a second I'll get a notification that somebody got the code. You guys are nuts. All right, I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit harder. Not so easy for you to pin out. All right, but yeah, so for today's yap session I'm just gonna be talking about what I think really helped me and benefited me as a small business owner, especially when it comes to how the business is run now, and then also what we are going to be doing within this next upcoming year, getting ready for renovations and the expansion that I'm doing. So with that being said, I want to, do I have to fix this 1 second here? Boom, fix that. All right, now we can do a little bit better. Kind of make that look a little bit better with that too. It looks like a mess, dude. I hate that it looks like a mess. But all right, so let's get back to the point. The books that I'm going to be recommending, if you want to succeed, if you want to be able to get a little bit of so whenever you're thinking of a business, right? If you're creating a small business and you're not your first venture, no one's ever helped you out before, you have no idea what you're doing. It's basically you're trying to get from A to B with zero roadmap. And what I think is that these books, honestly, after reading them, because I had a big crunch time, I did my small business with no loan. I literally just did all cash. Looking back at it now, huge mistake. Always take out a loan. Do not listen to Mark Cuban and not take out a loan. Take out a loan, take a little bit of debt, put a little bit more fire under your ass. There's two things. I hate getting sidetracked. There's two things. You could be the person that gets the fire under their ass by doing all in cash, me, or take out a loan, not me, but will be me if we're a next business venture. But the thing is if you want it to be successful, you have to light that fire under your ass, because if you don't, then you're screwed. I'm not talking about part-time. This isn't going to be a book recommendation for people who are part-time. This is going to be book recommendations for people who are going to do full-time, small business owner, really try and take in that entrepreneurship to the next level. And when I say entrepreneurship, I do mean like fully get into the entrepreneurship like mindset, not today's mindset, what entrepreneurship means. And that's honestly another reason why I hate saying that word so much, because it's become so diluted, but actually in the sense of where you're working on the business, not in the business. So basically I'm still trying to get myself out of the business of cutting hair in the barbershop and expanding it this hopefully upcoming year when we sign the new lease, to where I have 5 people on either side, so max of 10 barbers, and then eventually move it into the salon. So that way I'm more of an overseer working on the business rather in the business. So with that being said, this is just going to be a helpful tip for my personal opinion to help you guys, anyone who may be interested in it. These are, I think personally, the 3 must-read books when you're first starting out. Because again, if you're a small business owner, you don't know where to navigate this map, right? You basically want to get to A to B, but you have no idea how to get there. And I think these books actually really helped me find that map, right? It helped me find a good destination, a good road work of where to go from where I am now to where I can make YouTube videos. I have decent amount of income. I've got employees now to where they're making good amount of money as well. And we're getting ready for an expansion, and we're only doing it 4 years in. So from 2020, I opened up during COVID. Pretty much it was rough. Everybody was locked in. I mean, like heart of COVID, I pretty much opened up the business. And I think it's one of the main reasons that actually let me get in there, because being 24 years old, it was really difficult prior to that when I wanted to open up a business. Not to mention I just wasn't ready. But prior to COVID and trying to open up a business versus actually during the heart of COVID, people were more desperate. So I think it also helped. That being said, we are going to talk about the next 3 books. This is actually most of the things I do out of order. It's just, speaking from the hip, shooting at the hip. I don't really have anything navigated, and that's why sometimes I'll be like rambling nonstop. Sorry for that. This is going to be in order. So I think that you should read one after another after another. I don't think that it should be jumped around. Personally, I read them, jumped around. I wish I didn't, because one of the main things is like the more you read, you tend to realize that most books pretty much say the same thing. You may get 1 or 2 key ideas that really stick in your head. And that's why I have a bunch of more books up here, and then also above that shelf, above the guns and stuff like that. In order, we're going to go with number 1 is going to be Psychology of Money. Basically, you have to understand what money is, how to handle money, and you have to understand the strength of the dollar and how good the dollar actually is. Because if you start to expand in business, a lot of businesses, what do they say? Is I think like 80% of small businesses fail within the first year, and then like another like 60 or 7 fail within the first 5 years. The main reason that fails within the first 5 years is because people start to get a little bit lax when it comes to money. They start not really appreciating the strength of the dollar and what the dollar actually means. When you're first starting out, the dollar is really, really expensive. So what I mean by that is like up until 99 cents, boom, that dollar, you have to figure out how to spend that money. You have to figure out how $100 is going to account for accounting, advertising, equipment, different types of SEO, not just when it comes to advertising. It goes into multiple different things. I could do an entire breakdown video of it, but we're going to do a short video. This is a good one when it comes to figuring out what it exactly means to have a good analysis of what money actually is and the strength of a dollar. Number 2, the E-Myth. Look how roughed up these are, dude. That is so, it's gross, right? I've revised these a lot. E-Myth goes good. It's a little bit annoying because I usually like books that are like fact. I don't really like storybooks, but these are actually storybooks. E-Myth is really good because it goes over all the things that honestly a small business owner has to go through within their head. What I mean by that is that there's so many different psychoanalysis analyses that go into your head as a small business owner, especially for the first year. You're going over, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? Am I failing? There's a million things that goes into your head. You literally can't do it. It's like the same people who think that having a dog is like having a kid. You're just wrong. You're an idiot for saying that, because once you have a kid, you realize like, oh, animals don't really mean shit. Not that animals don't mean shit, but they're completely different with kids. You don't understand what it is to owning a business until you jump in, put your money, basically put, your money where your mouth is. And then you're just like, oh my God, everything I'm doing is wrong. Or, oh, it's going good. Now it's going shit. You get a lot of psychological stress, and it's not for everyone, right? But that's a really good one. It goes over all the backs and forths of what happens in a small business, especially trying to work on the business instead of in the business. It's basically going to go. There's another one that actually kind of highlights this as well. It's called Clockwork. That's another good one, but that's a little bit more in depth. I would read the E-Myth first, not to mention the E-Myth is a little bit easier to read. Really good for small business owners. Really good for money as well, honestly. And then last, I would definitely recommend this to be your third book. It's going to be your Next 5 Moves. Next 5 Moves is brilliant, not only in the fact that it goes over basically what those two talk about. It goes over a main guy here, Patrick Bet-David. I used to watch him all the time when he was first starting out on YouTube, and now he's massive. Insane tips, especially on his YouTube videos. I recommend watching a lot of his older YouTube videos before he even wrote this book. This book is able to get from A, B, C, D, E, because a lot of small business owners, whenever they're talking about creating different things, people tend to see their goals and aspirations and not connect the dots, figuring out how do I go from A to B to C to D. But when in the heat of the moment, you don't think like that. It sounds like common sense now, but right. But figuring out in the heat of the moment, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, and this. But you don't realize that instead of figuring out your next 5 moves, title of the book, where you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before you can get to 6, in people's heads, especially when you have your money all laid out and you have to make the business succeed, and you have being an entrepreneur, you have to figure out so many different things and aspects. You have to be good at all these things. You can't just be good at one thing. And after you close up shop, you still got to work on the business. It's not like it's done. You continuously have to advertise. You continuously have to work on it. You have to figure out what's going to be for the next day. You have to, it's so much work. This book honestly helps you figure out those moves from baby steps all the way to multi-million-dollar steps. It's basically how businesses are run. Not to mention, there's a chapter in here that he goes over, and it mentions a bunch of other different books in here. Can I find it? All right, cool. Yeah. I highlight a lot. I also like to annotate. A lot of things that you're going to notice about these books as well is they all tend to correlate with other different books, because obviously the more you read, you start gaining knowledge from different people, and then you also try to put that in your own words and then use it for your benefit, specifically with different business. He owned an insurance business, so that helped him with his stuff like that. But multitude of different books, they all correlate from each other, and that's what you're trying to do whenever you're trying to read. You're trying to get a main important thing that's going to help you out in whatever business that you're going to eventually go into. But yeah, if you guys are ever wanting to be your own business owner instead of working for somebody else, I'm still like figuring out the YouTube channel with the videos and stuff like that. So don't really know where the analytics lie with like age group. I think I'm targeting to the right people. If you're super young, read these books so that way you could be ahead of where I was. It's so much beneficial. It's so being able to have this knowledge at an early age and being able to figure out before everybody else does. You want it when your bones are good. You want it when you're like really aggressive, and you want it to where you actually have, you don't want to get complacent and you don't want to get lazy. Those are the two things. That's a really scary thing. He also mentioned that as well back in his old YouTube videos about the ambitious lazy person is probably the worst people to be around with. They're super ambitious, but they do nothing for it. Read some books, get knowledgeable. It's basically why I can be able to have money to do 25 days of Christmas, where I could have 500 subs, and then we could do a PS5 giveaway. Do these things so that way you don't have to stress about money. Nobody wants to stress about money. Everybody wants to make money. Okay. If you say that you don't want to make money, you're a liar. If you want to get, if you want a good life, you got to have money. If you want to get back, you got to have money. If you want to help people, you got to have money. Money is not the, what is that saying that everyone likes to say? The root of all evil, or the devil, or something like that. No, whoever said that is broke. I guarantee you. Money is good. All money does is, if you get a lot of money, all it does is enhances your personality. So if you're a good person, money's just going to enhance that. If you're a bad person, it's going to enhance that. That's all money does. If someone's an asshole, they get a lot of money, they're going to be a bigger asshole. If someone's Jesus and then has money, then you're just going to be a better Jesus. I mean, that's honestly what it is. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be playing Dark Souls, and I will be playing Dark Souls Remastered. Actually, my last video, I said that I played it before. I actually never played Dark Souls. And Monster Hunter, obviously still going back and forth with that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. See ya.